Hey everybody, this is Grace. In this video, I want to talk about something that that's been happening for I don't know how long. And like coincidences happen. We know coincidences do happen. I'm not one to believe that there's something mystical or magical happening. I believe that coincidences happen, and sometimes they're not coincidences. It's just like what I'm going to talk about in this video. Now, I'm trying to find a way to make it hypothetical, fictional, that more people can understand what I'm, or relate to what I'm saying. But it's so specific that I'm not sure I can do that. But, yeah. Anyway, have you ever had, something you've been doing for, say, I don't know, let's just say 5 years. Okay, let's go with 5 years. And, at first you're new to it, something that, you just started doing that you thought would be a good hobby or whatever. And at first, you are green to it. You don't know all the, you're doing it online. Like, here, some people would say, like, you're selling something that you like making online, and it's your first time to do that. That's not my situation, and I'm not sure if it will relate. Yeah, but so you're new to it. But otherwise, you're new to selling online. You're not green to this world. You weren't born yesterday. You know that there are people who are probably going to try something. There are bad people out there, despicable people, but it's not going to be everybody, and you're well aware of it. Okay, and but you start doing it in, like I said, let's say 5 years. And at first, like I said, you don't know everything about how this works or how that part works, or and so on. But as you get, deeper into it, is say a year or 2 years go by, and you start hearing things from other people who do it. Other people complain about some issue that they're having, or they tell you, how I don't know how that would happen when you're selling things online, but let's just say that it does. They tell you, watch out for this, or they just tell other people and you hear about it, watch out for that. Maybe they sell this stuff on YouTube, okay, and you watch theirs on how they do it. That might make it easier for people to relate to. And so you become less naive about that particular thing, that particular subject. That you already knew that people were going to try things, but you see what I'm saying? There are other ways that other people who create these things, who sell these things, what they could do to sabotage yours. Okay, I've heard so many stories in the past. I heard about people who sold stuff online, and I'm going back years, and people say, this is how they do. I think it was sometimes people would give people bad reviews, like if they sold it through some big place or something, and they would purposefully do that. And that's not my issue. That's not my problem. Like I said, that's not what's going on with me, but I've heard plenty of that. And yeah, we know some people will do that so they can sell their product. And, so you're less naive about that, and at that point. Okay, so that was the first 2 years out of 5. The next year you start to see more. You start to learn more about the people who are also selling whatever product you have. Something similar. You're not copycatting them. It's just you've always liked doing that. I know people who like making like jars and painting on them. My dad was he used to do woodwork. And he would paint little things on woodwork and stuff. And some people would just copy his. Just copy it. Have no shame. They just take it for their own idea. And I've seen enough. I've done enough videos on that kind of thing. But copycats, man, wow. No shame at all. But, so you hear more and more about that. But nothing like that has really happened to you. Or maybe it has, and you just know, yeah, they've got some low lifes like that. I'm not saying low class, I'm saying low lifes. Despicable people. And But what you didn't know, okay, because, nothing like what you thought was happening is happening to you. But then come the next 2 years and you start to realize that something isn't right. Maybe you never had noticed before those first 3 years because you were kind of green to that topic, to that it could happen that way. And so you didn't notice, and it really wasn't happening to you, or you just didn't notice that it was happening to you. And then like I said, the 4th and 5th year come around and you really start to notice, but it's not like what anybody else has said. It's not at all. And it's some way that you would think that's really, why would that be happening? And you fear maybe, or you worry that if you actually told anybody else, they'd say, well, no, that's not exactly how that would work. But you're the one who's been monitoring it. You're the one that it's affecting. It has a negative effect on you. And, but that if somebody else told you, you would probably say, oh, they're just real suspicious, or they might be even paranoid. You might go that far, okay, to say that's being rather paranoid, because it could be coincidence. It could just happen that way anyway. But then you start saying, okay, over 2 years, it's been happening and happening. So you try something different. And boom, it happens right then and there. It happens, and you're like, okay, that's not coincidental. It's been happening all these years. You don't really doubt yourself, but you think others would doubt you, and you think you would doubt others if they said that. Okay, like I just said. So, anyway, this is the same. This is the kind of thing that's happening to me. Okay, and it's been probably at least a year, I'd say maybe 2. And before, I just had no reason to notice it. No reason to even think about it, and really didn't until it became too coincidental. Too coincidental. And, in this situation, and when I say you, I don't really mean you, it's just how I tell a story, but, it is coincidental, and it could have been that it was happening all along, but just not so much. But as time went by, whomever it is got more braver, okay? They just build up their confidence that you're not going to notice it, or they don't care if you notice it as time goes by. They've gotten away with it for so long, they don't care anymore. They're just going to keep doing it no matter what, whatever it is. And or they may, it could, well, I don't know if that would relate, but I don't know. Like I remember hearing years ago on YouTube that some people had programmed, somehow, some way, people could buy, not buy, but they could have what would it be, like a bot or whatever. Anytime this person, say person or people, would put up a video, it would immediately give them a thumbs down. Okay, whatever kind of program or whatever would immediately give them a thumbs down on their videos. Now, I remember hearing that 6 years ago, maybe. Okay, that could happen. I don't know. I haven't heard anybody complain about that in years. Probably since back then. But then I've heard things like people say that people buy, like they buy subscribers, they buy, they pay for these fake subscribers, or they pay for fake likes, or they pay for fake dislikes for somebody else's video, to happen to somebody else's. And all these things can cause a person problems. That has a channel that can cause them problems. And, whether they're doing it to themselves or doing it to somebody else. Because some people might do it for somebody else, and then, YouTube's AI catches up with it, and their channel gets deleted or on suspension, whatever. I don't even know if there is a suspension. Some things like that happen. And, there are so many things I've heard on YouTube about other people doing, including myself. I have mentioned how people will steal ideas, and it's usually a larger channel, and they will steal the ideas of smaller channels because they don't, they don't care. They just take whatever is somebody else's. They're not that smart. The people who do that, they just don't have the creativity. They don't have the brain to do their own. That's how I see it, in my opinion. And of course, not one size doesn't fit all, but really, I've seen enough of that, and I've known that it happened to other people too. So anyway, that's not what I'm talking about in this video. I'm not talking about people doing that. They've been doing that. I've been making videos. This is something different that I'm experiencing, and I just am curious what it is, how it is, and the thing about it is, I did something that nobody would know that I did. Okay, it was something different, and it had that, but it could have that same result, and it did. It was like, whoa, that's so spooky. It was, I'm not going to say what it was, but it was something that I went, that is spooky creepy. Really spooky creepy. So, and of course, even these things, coincidences can be so unbelievable, but they're at the same time, there really are coincidences. So, anyway, I've been dealing with that for I don't know how long. I've been noticing it, and I've noticed it more and more and more and more as time goes by, and it's just makes me think, why would anybody in their right mind, that answers the question right there, do such a thing? What did they gain from a power control? Maybe they think, they just get a kick out of doing strange things. This is online. They just get a kick out of it. They think it's funny. I don't know. I mean, I've heard so many stories too. Not anything like this. I've never heard anything like what I'm going through. I've never heard anybody ever say it. So, so that's not something. Yeah, that's not an issue. It's not something that's the whole point. Is I would never think that this would happen. But it's consistently happening. Anyway, I think I've said enough. I was going to say more, but anytime I come out here, I'm telling you, somebody's got to come out too. I've done enough videos about that. Anyway, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. See, that kind of thing, like something consistently happens like that every time I come out this year so far. Yeah, and last year and the year before. But, well, so far this year, every day I've come out, somebody else has come out. And just kind of watches. And this happened before. So that is obvious. That's obvious. That's something that I can see. That it's consistent and it happens. But this other thing is like, that I've been talking about, is not something I can really see. I don't even know who it would be. I don't know why anybody would want to do that. You see? There's a difference. Now, if I always had, I was going to wrap it up, but I wanted to say this and I forgot. But if I always, like almost always, I'm not an always or never kind of person, all or nothing thinking. I'm not that way. But if I quite often had a suspicion about somebody's doing something to me, about everything, almost everything, when I got online, that would be different. If it's something that they're doing right now. I mean, I've done videos about what's happened in the past, and that's real. But, to say that everything, almost everything is this, is bad, is this, when I have no proof. When I have no proof, that's important. That, I would say, hints way far on the paranoid side. Without any proof. And that's why this thing that I'm going through now, it's like, I don't have any proof. And that makes it even more, confusing, but it's consistent. There's no proof, but it's consistent. Yeah. So, I'm still keeping it to myself, except for this. Anyway. Oh, I think I've had enough of, I'm going to go ahead and go in, like I said. I'll talk to you on another video.